Deep in the silent void of space, the Galactic Federation's monitoring station floated like a small jewel against the endless darkness. Alien officers moved about the control room, their multi-limbed hands tapping glowing panels, their many eyes flicking over holographic screens. The room was quiet, almost too quiet, as if the galaxy itself was holding its breath. Suddenly, a soft blip appeared on the main screen. A small, solitary ship. At first, it seemed ordinary, almost laughably weak. The alien commanders leaned forward, curious but unimpressed. "Just one human ship," sneered Commander Xylar, a tall, thin alien with scales that shimmered like mercury. "Hardly a threat. Humans have always been weak. This is nothing." Others around him chuckled. The room filled with low, mocking sounds. Even the youngest cadets shook their heads in disbelief. Why would anyone care about a single, tiny vessel from Earth? Yet the sensors told a different story. The ship's energy readings began to spike. The numbers climbed faster than anything the Federation's engineers had ever seen. Beams of light and data projected the ship's power, and a cold hush fell over the room. Commander Xylar's eyes widened. "Wait, these readings, this ship, it shouldn't even be possible." A senior analyst, trembling slightly, stepped forward. "Commander, its engines, the propulsion energy, it's beyond any human technology we've catalogued. And the weapons, even at this distance, the destructive potential is." "Stop," Xylar snapped, though his voice betrayed a hint of fear. "Explain." The analyst swallowed hard, fingers flying over his console. "It's a single ship, yes, but it has the capacity to destroy entire fleets, if it comes close. And the shields, stronger than any battle station we've ever built." "Commander, I don't understand. How did they achieve this?" Across the room, the other commanders stopped laughing. The air felt heavier, charged with something they had never felt before, doubt. "They're humans," said a quiet voice from the back. Lieutenant Zari, one of the younger officers, spoke carefully. "We've always underestimated them. But, this ship, it's different. Too different." Xylar slammed a clawed hand against the console. "Impossible. They are a primitive species. They barely mastered space travel a century ago. One ship cannot hold this kind of power." The monitors flickered, showing the human ship moving silently, steadily, as if it had no concern for the galaxy around it. It drifted closer to the Federation's edge, and every second seemed longer than the last. Alien officers exchanged uneasy glances. The ship wasn't just appearing, it was announcing itself. Bold, fearless, and unknown. A sudden alert blinked on the main console. "Incoming transmission," the analyst whispered. The room went silent. All chatter ceased. A calm, deliberate voice filled the chamber, speaking in an unfamiliar frequency. Xylar adjusted the translator. Every alien in the room leaned forward. The voice was human. Smooth. Confident. And chillingly calm. No fleet. No backup. Just one ship. "And yet, here we are," the voice said. The translation unit blinked, repeating the words. Even though the humans were still far away, the confidence in that voice echoed through the room. It wasn't a threat, not yet. It was a warning. A statement. Something that carried weight far heavier than the tiny ship itself. Xylar felt a cold shiver crawl up his spine. This was not the usual arrogance humans displayed. This was something different. Something powerful. "Prepare defensive measures," Xylar ordered, though he already feared it might be too late. "I want full fleet readiness. All weapons on alert." But the other officers hesitated. Fear had spread quietly through their ranks. One by one, they realized what Xylar could not yet admit: this one human ship might actually be enough to terrify the galaxy. Outside the station, in the dark emptiness of space, the human vessel glided forward. No flashing lights. No aggressive maneuvers. Just movement. Silent. Deadly. Certain. And in that moment, every alien officer watching the screens felt the same thought creep into their minds. Why would one small ship, so tiny against the infinite galaxy, cause such fear? The answer was unclear. The numbers on the screen screamed danger. The calm voice of the human hinted at intelligence beyond reckoning. And the movement of the ship, slow, steady, unstoppable, left no room for doubt. Something had changed. Something new had arrived. And for the first time, the Galactic Federation realized that perhaps they had underestimated humanity. The room was still. The laughter was gone. Only the hum of the monitors remained. And on every screen, the human ship glided forward, unaware of the fear it had already sown. One ship. One human ship. Enough to shake the galaxy. The clock ticked. The suspense was unbearable. Every officer knew the coming hours could rewrite the history of the stars. And yet, no one knew what humans were capable of. Not yet. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council was a place that had seen centuries of power struggles, debates, and decisions that shaped the fate of countless star systems. Towering columns of black metal reflected the soft golden light that hovered in the air. Hundreds of alien delegates from every corner of the galaxy were seated, their eyes glowing in different shades, their forms ranging from reptilian to crystalline, from multilimbed to amorphous. The hall hummed with authority, pride, and a touch of arrogance. Today, however, the atmosphere was tense. Reports of a single human ship had reached the council through every communication channel. A small craft, yes, but one that had unsettled entire fleets at the edge of known space. Delegates whispered among themselves, some laughing, some scowling, others frowning in confusion. The humans again, a crystalline delegate snorted, her voice like wind over chimes. They are insignificant. One ship. What could they possibly do? Another delegate, tall and armored like a walking fortress, banged his claw on the table. Exactly. We are the Galactic Federation. One primitive craft cannot intimidate us. This is absurd. Yet, in the corner, a smaller, older alien with a wrinkled, pale face shook his head. Do not underestimate them, he warned. Humans are not like other species. Their strength is in ways we cannot always measure. We have ignored them for too long. A murmur ran through the hall. Some delegates raised claws or tentacles in laughter. Strength. From humans, one sneered. They barely mastered interstellar travel. How could one small ship threaten the Federation? Despite the laughter, unease lingered in the room. Screens lining the walls displayed the human ship's recent movements. Even at a distance, its energy signatures were unlike anything recorded. It moved with precision, its engines radiating a faint but undeniable power. Its weapons capacity, though unused, registered as capable of destroying entire fleets. The Council's leader, Chancellor Vorin, a massive being of shimmering black scales with eyes that could pierce the minds of most species, rose from his throne. His voice, deep and commanding, silenced the chatter immediately. We are gathered here because one human ship has reached the edge of our territory, Vorin began, his tone calm but heavy with authority. Reports indicate that it has destroyed or bypassed patrols with ease. Our sensors confirm its energy output exceeds expectations for its size and species. We must act wisely. Another delegate, arms crossed, scoffed. Act wisely? We should ignore it. The humans are minor players. One ship cannot threaten the Federation. Any aggressive move would be unnecessary. Vorin's eyes narrowed. Do you truly believe that? You have all seen the data. The humans' technology is unlike anything in our records. They are not predictable. They are not weak. Dismissing this ship is dangerous. Silence fell over the hall. The usual confidence of the council members wavered slightly. Whispers spread like fire. For the first time in decades, some delegates began questioning whether humans were as primitive as they had assumed. A young advisor, barely older than a cadet, stepped forward. Her skin shimmered like liquid silver, and her voice was hesitant but urgent. Chancellor, I have studied humans for many cycles. Their minds are extraordinary. Their instincts, their unpredictability, even their courage, these are not qualities we fully understand. We may be underestimating them. Fatally. Murmurs of agreement and dissent rippled through the chamber. Some delegates scowled, some looked nervous, and a few even paled. Chancellor Vorin's gaze swept across the room. I do not take fear lightly. But neither do I ignore reality. This human ship, it is not just a vessel. It is a statement. A message. And we must decide how we respond. Another delegate raised his voice, frustrated. And what if we overreact? Should we send a fleet to destroy one ship? We risk war. For one craft. Vorin's expression hardened. And what if we do nothing? What if that one ship is only the beginning? Humans have never followed the rules of the galaxy as we know them. They adapt. They evolve. One day, they could challenge us all. Ignoring them is far more dangerous than confronting them. The debate grew heated. The hall echoed with raised voices, urgent arguments, and the occasional hiss of alien disbelief. But beneath it all was a thread of fear, silent, growing, and undeniable. Finally, Vorin raised his clawed hand. We will not attack immediately. But we will not ignore them. Deploy scouts. Monitor every human movement. And prepare contingency plans. One ship may seem small, but it has shaken us to our core. That is a reality we cannot dismiss. As the council adjourned, many delegates left in hurried conversation, their laughter replaced by whispered concerns. Reports would be filed. Fleets would be on alert. Every officer, every soldier, and every strategist in the Federation now knew that humans were no longer a species to underestimate. Outside the council chambers, stars stretched infinitely. Somewhere in the darkness, the human ship continued its silent journey. Calm, fearless, and unknown. And deep within the Federation, a sense of unease spread. One human ship had already changed the way the galaxy saw Earth. And the question that haunted every alien in that hall was simple, terrifying, and unavoidable. What could one human ship do next? Far away from the bustling halls of the Galactic Council, in the silent expanse at the edge of known space, the human ship glided smoothly. Unlike the massive fleets of the Federation, it was small and unassuming. Its hull was sleek, dark, and almost invisible against the backdrop of stars. There were no flashy lights or markings, nothing to declare its presence. And yet, the power within was unmatched. Inside the ship, the crew moved with calm precision. Captain Elias stood at the helm, his eyes scanning the holographic displays before him. He was young, yet his presence carried a quiet authority. Every movement of his hands on the controls was deliberate, almost meditative. Around him, his crew, humans of various specialties, worked in perfect coordination. Lieutenant Mara, the ship's tactical officer, spoke without looking up. Sensors indicate multiple Federation patrols approaching, Captain. They don't realize we're here yet. Elias's lips curved into a small, confident smile. Let them come. They won't know what hit them. The crew nodded. Despite being outnumbered 1,000 to 1, there was no fear, only focus. This was not just a ship, it was the culmination of humanity's ingenuity, strategy, and courage. Every system had been designed to outsmart a galaxy that had long underestimated them. The ship's stealth field hummed softly. It rendered them nearly invisible to most sensors. And yet, even if detected, their energy shields could withstand attacks far stronger than any patrol had ever carried. But Elias knew the real advantage wasn't the shields or weapons, it was the human mind itself. Humans were unpredictable, adaptive, brilliant in ways the Federation could never anticipate. Captain, Mara said, her voice tense but controlled, a small fleet has changed course. They're heading straight for us. Their scanners must have picked up something. Elias studied the readings. He didn't panic. Instead, he leaned forward and tapped a few commands. The ship shifted its trajectory subtly, almost like a predator circling its prey. Let them come closer. We'll give them a show they won't forget. The screens lit up as the approaching fleet came into partial range. Federation cruisers, larger and more heavily armed than the human ship, moved with confidence, ready to assert their dominance. Most believed humans were primitive, incapable of defending themselves. They had no idea what awaited them. Inside the human ship, the atmosphere was calm, almost serene. Engineers adjusted power outputs, weapons systems aligned automatically, and sensors fed real-time intelligence directly to the crew's neural interfaces. Every action was precise. Every movement calculated. Humans had turned fear into strategy, and confidence into a weapon. Lieutenant Mara's eyes widened as she analyzed the incoming fleet. "Captain, they're bringing in heavy cruisers now. Weapons online, shields at full capacity. They're serious." Elias's expression remained unchanged. "Good. Let's see how serious they really are." In an instant, the ship's cloaking field flickered. A pulse of energy expanded outward, briefly revealing the vessel's silhouette before vanishing again. The fleet scanners detected the pulse, causing confusion and hesitation. Communication attempts went unanswered. The humans were silent, calm, untouchable. One of the human engineers spoke up, voice steady. "Captain, weapons systems are ready. Tactical simulations indicate a 99.7% chance we can neutralize the fleet without revealing our full capabilities." Elias nodded. "We don't need to fight them. Not yet. Let them learn. Observation is the key." From outside, the Federation cruisers scanned endlessly, trying to identify the source of the unusual energy readings. Their weapons were charged. Their confidence, however, wavered. Something about this human ship did not add up. It was too small to carry such energy, too quiet to be dangerous, yet too precise to be ordinary. Back inside, the crew prepared for any eventuality. They knew the Federation would test them soon. Perhaps they would attack. Perhaps they would retreat. But the humans were ready for either. And even in the silence, their minds were calculating possibilities, predicting enemy moves, and preparing solutions the aliens could never imagine. Captain Elias walked through the command room, his eyes scanning the displays, watching his crew work. "Remember," he said softly, but with authority, "we are not just a ship. We are humanity's message. Let them learn." Slowly, a small alert blinked on the main console. Sensors had picked up movement within the approaching fleet. Alien ships were beginning to change formation, clearly confused and cautious. The humans allowed a small smile of satisfaction. Their presence alone was enough to unsettle entire squadrons. And then, as the ship drifted silently closer to the heart of the Federation's patrol, Elias activated a low-frequency signal, a faint, almost imperceptible pulse in the electromagnetic spectrum. It was not a threat. Not yet. But it carried a warning. Somewhere across the stars, the aliens would feel it. A subtle, chilling reminder that humans were unpredictable, dangerous, and capable of far more than anyone had ever imagined. The human ship continued its steady glide through the void, calm and silent, a single vessel capable of shaking the galaxy to its core. One ship. One crew. And a message that no alien would soon forget: underestimating humans was no longer an option. The darkness of space stretched endlessly, dotted with distant stars that gleamed like scattered diamonds. The human ship moved silently, a shadow against the vast void. But behind that calm exterior, the galaxy held its breath. Somewhere, the Federation's fleet was gathering, confident that their numbers would overwhelm a single vessel. They were about to learn how dangerous underestimation could be. Commander Xylar and his fleet watched the approaching human ship with unease. "It's just one craft," he muttered to his officers, though his voice betrayed a trace of doubt. "Focus your scans. Prepare weapons. We will crush it before it reaches our borders." The alien ships shifted into formation, their massive engines roaring to life. Laser cannons charged, energy shields flared, and drones deployed to intercept. They believed their plan was flawless. The humans were only one small ship. There was no way it could survive. Inside the human vessel, Captain Elias and his crew were calm. Lieutenant Mara's fingers flew over the controls, checking tactical readouts, adjusting shields, and monitoring enemy movement. The crew moved with silent precision, every action rehearsed but flexible, ready for the unexpected. "Captain," Mara said, her voice steady but alert, "the fleet is engaging. They are moving in fast. Their weapons are primed. Estimated impact in 60 seconds. Elias nodded. "Good. Let's show them what humans are capable of." As the Federation's fleet closed the distance, the human ship did something unexpected. It shifted its position not erratically, but with calculated precision. Energy pulses from the cloaking system created false images of multiple ships. The aliens, seeing dozens of identical human ships, hesitated. Confusion spread across their command screens. What is happening? Xylar hissed. They are multiplying. That's impossible. Elias watched the fleet's reactions carefully. They think numbers win battles, he said quietly. Let them believe it. Then, the strike began. The human ship released a series of rapid energy pulses, each one hitting critical systems on the alien cruisers. Weapons malfunctioned. Shields flickered. Engines sputtered. The Federation fleet, expecting a standard battle, found themselves outmaneuvered by a single human craft. Every attack they attempted was countered before it even reached the target. Alien officers shouted, alarms blared, and panic spread like wildfire. Their formations broke. Some ships tried to retreat, but others were too close. The humans were precise, surgical, and deadly. Target the nearest cruiser, Elias commanded. Focus on disabling, not destroying. We want them to understand who they face. Mara initiated the attack sequence. Streams of energy struck the alien vessels, causing explosions that lit the darkness. But the humans were careful. Not one ship was destroyed entirely. This was not mass slaughter, it was a warning, a demonstration of skill, power, and intelligence. From the Federation Command Center, Xylar's voice trembled as he shouted into the comm, "Pull back. Pull back immediately. This is madness. One ship should not have this power." The human crew ignored the comms. There was no need. Their strategy was working. Every strike was deliberate. Every movement, calculated. The aliens' fear was evident even from their distant displays, an emotion they had never expected the humans to provoke. "Captain," Mara said, eyes wide as she observed the alien reactions, "they're losing coordination. They're panicking." Elias nodded. Exactly as predicted. Humans always find the edge where others falter. Keep pressure, but remain controlled. For the first time in centuries, the Federation realized that one ship could not be treated lightly. It was not the size or number of vessels that mattered, it was the crew, the intelligence, and the unpredictable nature of humans. The galaxy had been arrogant, and now it was paying the price. Outside the human ship, alien cruisers struggled to regroup. Explosions flashed against the black void, sending fragments of metal drifting across space. Energy beams collided with shields, but the humans adapted instantly. Every attempt to strike them was met with countermeasures designed not only to defend but to teach a lesson. And then, just as suddenly as it began, the human ship ceased its offensive maneuvers. It drifted calmly, untouched, almost serene, while the alien fleet floated in chaos. Smoke, sparks, and the remains of minor damage lit the dark space like a battlefield frozen in time. Inside the human ship, Elias looked at his crew and smiled faintly. "One ship," he said quietly. "Enough to change everything." The crew understood. They had not destroyed the enemy. They had done something far more terrifying. They had shown that humans were not to be underestimated, that courage, strategy, and ingenuity could overcome any force, no matter how large. And across the galaxy, in command rooms and council chambers, alien leaders would begin to whisper the same fearful question. How could one small human ship hold such power? The answer was simple, yet terrifying, because humans were different. Because humans were unpredictable. Because humans were dangerous. After the chaos of the first encounter, the human ship drifted silently through space. The fleet they had faced was scattered, confused, and shaken. Yet inside the ship, Captain Elias knew the battle was far from over. One strike had made a statement, but the galaxy was still vast, and the Federation was still dangerous. They needed more than firepower. They needed strategy. In the command room, screens flickered with holographic maps of the surrounding space. Energy readings, fleet movements, and patrol routes were displayed in meticulous detail. Elias traced the paths with his finger, eyes narrowing. "Humans have never followed the rules," he murmured. "And neither will we." Lieutenant Mara looked up. "Captain, their patrols are reorganizing. They'll send scouts to track us, predict our next move. Elias nodded. Exactly. Let them try. Our advantage isn't strength alone, it's intelligence, adaptability, and timing. We don't need to fight every battle. We need to win the war without giving them a chance to strike first. The crew worked seamlessly. Engineers adjusted the ship's energy distribution, diverting power from weapons to shields, then back to propulsion. Tactical officers ran countless simulations in seconds, predicting every possible move the Federation might make. Mara studied the incoming data. Captain, they're sending intercept drones. Estimated arrival in 4 minutes. If we engage directly, we risk exposing our full capability. Elias smiled faintly. We won't engage directly. We'll use their own assumptions against them. The human ship shifted its trajectory, moving into a dense asteroid field. Sensors on the alien drones struggled to track it. Every asteroid acted as a natural barrier, forcing the drones to navigate carefully. The humans used the field not only for cover but as a weapon. Small pulses of energy subtly altered the drones' paths, causing collisions and malfunctions without firing a single shot. Mara whispered, "They won't understand what's happening until it's too late." From the Federation's perspective, confusion reigned. Drones collided. Minor cruisers misfired. Communication lines buzzed with errors. And still, the human ship remained unharmed, almost teasing its would-be attackers. "This is incredible," one alien officer muttered. "They are not fighting, they are controlling the battlefield itself." Elias turned to his crew. "Remember, humans adapt. Humans think. Humans survive. We are not just a ship, we are a lesson in strategy. Every move counts. Every choice matters." The crew nodded, fully understanding the weight of the moment. They were not only defending themselves, they were demonstrating that one human vessel could outthink an entire fleet. In the command room, Mara's eyes lit up. "Captain, I've found a way to predict their patrol rotations for the next hour. If we move through the next sector now, we can avoid all main forces and send a signal back to Earth undetected." Elias considered this, then nodded. "Do it. But keep them guessing. Never let them anticipate our path completely. We want them on edge. Fear grows faster than strength when they do not understand us." As the ship moved, subtle manipulations of gravitational fields, energy emissions, and minor decoy signals created an invisible labyrinth for the Federation to navigate. Every move was calculated to maximize confusion, minimize risk, and demonstrate that humans did not rely on brute force, they relied on intelligence. Meanwhile, the Federation command grew increasingly frustrated. Xylar's officers argued endlessly, unable to find patterns in the humans' maneuvers. The aliens had prepared for numbers, firepower, and intimidation, but humans did not play by their rules. One ship, small and unassuming, had rendered their fleets ineffective. "Impossible!" Xylar shouted. "They are everywhere, and nowhere at the same time. How is this possible? They cannot control space itself." Back on the human ship, Elias watched the stars pass by, calm as ever. "It's not control," he said softly. "It's understanding. Humans see possibilities others overlook. We predict, adapt, and act before the enemy even realizes they are being played." The crew worked silently but efficiently, their minds perfectly aligned with the ship and its mission. Every action was precise, yet flexible. Every decision was calculated, yet creative. This was human strategy in its purest form, subtle, clever, and devastatingly effective. Hours passed, and the humans' maneuvers continued to frustrate the Federation. Each attempted engagement failed. Each patrol that tried to follow the ship ended in confusion. And still, the humans remained calm, calculating, untouchable. Finally, Mara looked up, eyes bright with satisfaction. "Captain, we've routed their forces without firing a single full-scale attack. The message is clear: humans are not weak. Humans are unpredictable. Humans are dangerous." Elias smiled, a quiet glimmer of pride in his eyes. "Exactly. Let them learn. Let them remember. One ship is enough to terrify a galaxy, when it thinks, acts, and survives like this." Outside, the stars continued to stretch endlessly. The human ship glided forward, small but unstoppable, clever beyond measure. One ship. One crew. And a strategy that no alien could ever fully predict. Somewhere, deep in the Federation, Xylar would write reports, strategists would argue, and leaders would realize the terrifying truth. Humans did not need fleets to dominate, they needed only one ship, and the mind to wield it. Far across the galaxy, alarms blared in the Federation's command centers. The reports from the outer patrols had thrown the Council into chaos. One human ship, just a single craft, had evaded fleets, disrupted patrols, and demonstrated power no one could explain. Now, desperation had replaced arrogance. Commander Xylar paced his command room, claws tapping against the console. "We've underestimated them for the last time," he growled. "Send everything. Every cruiser, every destroyer. Target that ship. We will overwhelm it." Officers scrambled, holographic displays showing waves of ships mobilizing from multiple sectors. Energy beams hummed, weapons systems charged, and fleets accelerated toward the human vessel with precision and deadly intent. This was the largest counterattack the galaxy had ever seen, and all of it aimed at one ship. Inside the human vessel, Captain Elias observed the approaching fleets calmly. The sensors lit up with warnings, dozens of vessels converging from every direction. Yet there was no panic. This was exactly what he had anticipated. Lieutenant Mara's voice was steady but urgent. "Captain, they've committed everything. The main fleet is here. Shields at full strength. Weapons locked. They intend to crush us in one strike." Elias's eyes narrowed. "Good. Let them come. Humans thrive under pressure. Every move they make can be used against them. Prepare for maximum efficiency." The human ship shifted into a defensive orbit, its engines whisper quiet. Energy shields flared subtly, absorbing minor attacks before they even reached the hull. Sensors predicted each enemy strike with uncanny accuracy. Every laser blast, missile trajectory, and drone maneuver was anticipated and countered. Outside, the alien fleet surged forward like a tidal wave, confident in their overwhelming numbers. Energy beams lanced through space, missiles streaked toward the human ship, and fighter drones swarmed in perfect formations. Yet every attack was met with precision evasion, shield deflection, or calculated redirection. The humans moved as if the enemy was a chessboard, every strike a predicted move. "Impossible!" Commander Xylar shouted, watching as his fleet's attacks faltered. "One ship cannot withstand this. They're too fast, too clever, too precise." Inside the ship, the crew executed complex maneuvers seamlessly. Small pulses of energy redirected missiles, shield harmonics absorbed blasts, and subtle electronic interference scrambled drone systems. Every counterattack caused minimal exposure, ensuring the humans remained untouchable while sending a clear message: underestimate us, and you fail. "Captain," Mara said, analyzing the fleet's formation, "they're reorganizing. They're trying to flank us from two directions. If they succeed, we could be trapped." Elias smiled faintly. "Let them think they have the advantage. Humans turn traps into opportunities. Initiate Phase 2. Phase 2 was a combination of stealth, speed, and deception. The ship emitted controlled pulses that created phantom duplicates, confusing the enemy's sensors. While the aliens fired at illusions, the real human ship struck weak points in their formation. Minor cruisers malfunctioned, drones collided, and even larger vessels hesitated, unsure of the true target. The chaos was complete. The alien commanders were panicked, their confidence shattered. Orders were shouted, voices cracked with fear, and miscommunication spread like wildfire. The very fleet that had planned to annihilate a single ship was now on the defensive, reacting to every move the humans made. "Do you see?" Elias asked quietly, looking at the crew. "They rely on numbers, power, and rules. We rely on thought, adaptability, and timing. That is why one ship can change everything." Mara nodded, a grin forming on her face. "They can't predict us. They can't control us. They only know fear now." Even as the humans executed perfect maneuvers, subtle attacks continued. Targeted pulses disabled key weapon systems, shields were destabilized temporarily, and critical communications were disrupted. The humans were not destroying the fleet, they were teaching it a lesson. Every strike demonstrated precision, intelligence, and control beyond anything the aliens had faced. Commander Zylar's eyes widened in disbelief. They are playing with us. This is not combat, it's a demonstration. As the battle raged on, the Federation fleet faltered. Energy beams that once threatened to obliterate the human ship now misfired, colliding with each other. Fighter drones crashed, and the aliens' confidence evaporated like mist. One by one, officers began to whisper among themselves, fear spreading faster than the battle itself. Finally, after hours of intense maneuvering and strategic engagement, the human ship drifted calmly through the battlefield. The fleet remained mostly intact, but shaken, confused, and humiliated. No alien could claim victory. No one had touched the human ship. And yet, the message had been delivered. Captain Elias looked at his crew. One ship, he said quietly, one strategy, one mind. Enough to show the galaxy, humans are not to be underestimated. And across the void, somewhere in command rooms, reports would be written, meetings would be held, and leaders would realize the terrifying truth. Humans did not need fleets to dominate, they needed only one ship, and the brilliance to wield it. The galaxy had faced one human ship, and it would never be the same again. The human ship drifted silently through the void, calm and undisturbed. Outside, the remnants of the Federation fleet struggled to regroup. Their numbers were vast, their firepower immense, but all of it had failed against one single human vessel. Across the galaxy, whispers spread like wildfire, humans are not what we thought. Inside the command room, Captain Elias observed the fleet through the ship's sensors. His crew remained focused, their movements precise, almost choreographed. Lieutenant Mara's fingers flew over the controls as she monitored every system. "Captain," Mara said, her voice steady but filled with anticipation, "the fleet is still operational, but they're disorganized. Confusion is widespread. They don't know how to respond. I have an idea, a way to show them what humans are truly capable of." Elias looked at her, eyes narrowing. "Go on." Mara tapped a few commands, and the ship's interior lights dimmed. On the main display, a small holographic projection appeared, showing the human vessel's hidden systems. It was a masterpiece of engineering, propulsion units far beyond current galactic understanding, shields that could absorb massive energy discharges, and weapons capable of pinpoint strikes across vast distances. But the true surprise lay in the human ship's core. A compact, energy-dense reactor pulsed quietly, capable of powering the vessel indefinitely while also amplifying its weapons and shields. The humans had achieved something no alien species had ever imagined, a perfect balance of power, stealth, and control. Elias's voice was calm, almost soft. "It's time to reveal ourselves. Not to destroy, but to make them understand. Humans are not to be underestimated. One ship is enough to change everything." Across the void, the Federation fleet watched, unaware of the revelation about to unfold. Then, slowly, almost imperceptibly, the human ship emitted a pulse of energy. It was unlike anything the aliens had seen, a soft, glowing wave that spread across space. Sensors flickered, shields reacted, and communications went silent. The fleet froze. What is this?" Commander Zylar shouted, panic in his voice. They are showing us something. Impossible." The energy pulse continued, highlighting every hidden system, every advanced weapon, every subtle feature of the human vessel. The aliens could no longer ignore the truth. This was not a primitive ship. This was not a weak species. Humans had engineered a vessel that combined intelligence, adaptability, and raw power in a way no one had predicted. Lieutenant Mara smiled faintly. "Look at their reactions. They finally understand." Indeed, on every screen, alien officers stared in disbelief. Their confidence, once unshakable, crumbled in an instant. Councils, commanders, and fleets realized that humans were not just capable, they were extraordinary. The revelation spread quickly, leaving fear and awe in its wake. "Captain," Mara said, her voice hushed, "they're trying to retreat, to regroup, but they are shaken. They know now. One ship, one human ship, has changed the way they see us. Elias nodded. Exactly. But remember, humans are not reckless. We do not destroy without purpose. This is a lesson, not a massacre. They must respect what they do not understand. The human ship drifted calmly through space, the pulse slowly fading. But the impact remained. Across the galaxy, the Federation and other civilizations would think twice before underestimating humanity again. One ship, one crew, one calculated reveal had accomplished what entire fleets could not, proving humans were not just a species, they were a force to be reckoned with. Commander Xylar slumped in his chair, stunned. They have shown us everything, and yet, we still do not know what they are capable of next. Elias turned to his crew. This is only the beginning. Humans will continue to explore, to adapt, and to surprise. But for now, we have made our point. The galaxy has learned a simple truth: never underestimate humans. Not one. Not many. Not ever. Outside the human vessel, the stars stretched infinitely, silent witnesses to a demonstration of intelligence, courage, and power. One ship had shifted the balance of perception across the galaxy. It was a quiet revolution, subtle yet profound, leaving the Federation shaken and uncertain. And as the human ship continued its journey, the message was clear: the galaxy may have underestimated humanity for centuries, but that era was over. One ship had shown that humans were not only survivors, they were masters of strategy, science, and determination. For the first time, the aliens knew that the humans' true strength was not in numbers, nor in sheer firepower, but in their mind. And a single human mind, operating a single ship with precision and foresight, could terrify the galaxy. The revelation was complete. The galaxy had seen humans at their best. And it would never forget. The battle was over, or at least, what the galaxy could call a battle. The human ship drifted silently through the void, untouched, calm, and almost serene. Its mission had not been to destroy, but to demonstrate. Across the galaxy, fleets were scattered, councils were in chaos, and the Federation was left questioning everything it knew about humanity. Inside the ship, Captain Elias stood at the helm, eyes scanning the stars ahead. The crew worked quietly, adjusting systems and reviewing sensor data. There was no celebration, no boastful cheers. Humans had achieved their goal, a lesson had been delivered, and the galaxy would remember it. Lieutenant Mara approached, her face calm but thoughtful. Captain, the Federation is attempting to regroup. Reports indicate their fleets are confused, morale is low, and councils are scrambling to respond. They won't attack us again anytime soon. Elias nodded. Good. But this is only the beginning. Humans have shown what one ship can do. That knowledge alone will change the way they act. Fear, respect, and caution are now theirs to carry. Across the galaxy, alien leaders met in emergency sessions. The Grand Council convened in secrecy, reviewing every report of the human ship's actions. Whispers of disbelief and fear echoed through the chambers. How could one vessel, a single human craft, have caused such chaos? How could one small crew alter the perception of an entire civilization? Commander Xylar paced his quarters, frustration etched into every movement. We prepared for everything, yet one ship has outmaneuvered us all. How is this possible? His officers avoided eye contact, each one struggling to explain the inexplicable. Sir, one said cautiously, they didn't just fight. They used strategy, intelligence, foresight. They predicted our moves before we even made them. It's like they can see into our minds. Xylar growled, frustration boiling over. Humans, they are not a species to underestimate. Not one. Not many. Never. Meanwhile, in quiet sectors far from the chaos, humans celebrated in small, private ways. Not for destruction, but for achievement. One ship had shifted the balance of perception across countless worlds. The galaxy now knew that humans were clever, brave, and dangerous in ways they could never fully predict. Back aboard the human ship, Elias turned to his crew. Remember this day, he said quietly. Not because of battle won, but because of understanding earned. One ship, one mission, one strategy, enough to terrify a galaxy. Humans have proven that we are capable of far more than anyone imagined. And we will continue to prove it. The crew nodded, their faces reflecting quiet pride and deep understanding. They had not destroyed worlds, they had not conquered fleets, yet their presence alone had rewritten the rules. The galaxy would never view humans the same way again. In distant star systems, alien patrols and scouts reported strange anomalies. They had no idea where humans would appear next, or what tactics they would use. That uncertainty, the unpredictability of human intelligence, was now the greatest weapon of all. One ship had done what entire fleets could not. It had instilled fear, respect, and admiration simultaneously. Elias activated the ship's stealth field, allowing it to vanish into the stars. The pulse of its engines whispered softly, leaving no trace. Yet, across the galaxy, the memory of its passage remained vivid. Commanders would write reports. Councils would debate. Fleets would adjust strategies. All because one ship had dared to challenge expectations. "Captain," Mara said, her eyes focused on the display, "do you think they understand now?" Elias smiled faintly. "They understand this. Humans are not ordinary. One ship, one crew, one mind, enough to change everything. But they do not yet know our full potential. And perhaps, that is how it should be." As the human ship glided into the darkness, stars stretching infinitely around it, the galaxy held its breath. One simple truth had been proven: humans were clever, adaptable, and unpredictable. And even a single ship, operated by humans, was enough to terrify civilizations, challenge fleets, and change the balance of power. Somewhere in distant command rooms, alien leaders would whisper the same question over and over: what will humanity do next? And for now, the answer remained unknown. Silent. Calm. Deadly. The human ship disappeared among the stars, leaving only one message: never underestimate humans. Not one. Not many. Not ever. The galaxy had learned its lesson. One human ship had spoken, and its words would echo through the void for centuries.